Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning to Dr. Zulkifli bin Abdul Rahim. Okay, so today our group would like to discuss and audit the company of Mr. DIY Group Sendirian Berhad. My name is Wan Nur Anin Sofia binti Wan Muhammad Basri, metric number 049897. So the content that we will cover are introduction, literature review, company audit, critical analysis, finding, and the last one is conclusion. As for introduction, Mr. DIY Group Sendirian Berhad is the biggest home improvement retailer or distributor with more than 1,250 outlets in Asia, including Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, Indonesia, and also India. With the motto of always low price, Mr. DIY Group Sendirian Berhad started its business at Jalan Tuanku Abdul Rahman in July 2005. The founder of Mr. DIY Group Sendirian Berhad is Mr. Tan Yu Ye, and currently this business developed about more than 16,600 variety of product, engaged with 10 categories. These categories are related to the equipment, household, electrical, stationery and game, toys, and also electronic equipment, and as well as accessories. Mr. DIY Group Sendirian Berhad involved in a sector of consumer product and service, and this business currently operates more than 676 stores in Malaysia, and it comprises about 10,000 square feet per store. This business run independently and acting as a business partner of Tesco, Giant, and also Eon. Other than store, Mr. DIY also selling its product through e-commerce retail website such as Shopee and Lazada. Every year, Mr. DIY Group Sendirian Berhad serve about 80 million of customers in Malaysia and also Brunei. They provide a high quality of product to customer with a good value of money. Okay, next we will continue with the vision and also mission of Mr. DIY Group Sendirian Berhad. Okay, their vision is to be the largest home improvement retailer in Malaysia and also Brunei. While their mission, the first one is to create a globally recognized retail brand. Second, to offer a diverse retail experience catering for different customer segments. And the last one, to maintain a wide variety, good quality of product, and also the good value of money while holding to their company motto as always low price. Okay, next we will continue with literature review. Okay, in the content of literature review, there are external forces and also internal forces that influence the business, which is Mr. DIY Group Sendirian Berhad. There are two external forces that involve, which is the first one is technological forces. Okay, for technological forces, actually Mr. DIY established a digital platform, which is the digital platform will help the business to build a different competition and also to reduce the gap between competitors. They also can communicate or keep in touch with customer using the digital platform. Not just that, Mr. DIY also work with key influencer or other industry associate to market their product. Okay, next is economic forces. As based on the level of income of the most individual, which is categorized into the B40, they are likely more to purchase a low price of product with a good quality and value of money. So, Mr. DIY offer the customer a low price of product with a good quality. The internal forces that involved in Mr. DIY company is marketing strategy. Mr. DIY use a marketing strategy such as promote their product, okay, including in the TV and also social media. Not just that, Mr. DIY also run a sale, give 0% of GST and also a discount, because they believe that with their brand, with their trademark, always low price, to ensure the customer satisfaction. Okay, next is organizational culture. The culture that Mr. DIY emphasizes is their service to the customer. They aim for the excellence of their workers and also action with integrity. So, Mr. DIY very prioritize how their workers, how their employees give their service to the customer. And also, Mr. DIY advocate the value of fairness, equality in the decision-making process.
Assalamualaikum and good day everyone. I'm Nora Srinazatul Hanis bint Hasri, metric number 049867. We'll then proceed this presentation with my part, which are the company audit, critical analysis and also the conclusion. So as for the company audit for Mr. DIY Group, for Porter 5 forces is the model used to identify and analyze the 5 competitive forces that shape Mr. DIY. So first and foremost, we will go into the industry rivalry. So despite of being the leader of Malaysia home improvement retail sector, Mr. DIY needs to compete with other competitors too. This includes well-known stores such as Daiso and also Ace Hardware. So there are so many similar features of retail competitors. There is a weak differentiation between them that increase the risk of customer switching between and among the retail competitors. So next is the entry barriers. So the entry barriers for retail industry is relatively low. So this industry has a sizable economies, thus for a new entry it would require a medium amount of capital to be able to compete with Mr. DIY, Daiso and also Ace Hardware. So as for the bargaining powers of suppliers, Mr. DIY does not reliant on one particular supplier. Hence, if one item of a supplier become inaccessible, Mr. DIY face no trouble switching to another supplier because it would not have a significant impact on the company. So then the fourth one is the bargaining power of customers. So customers do not have strong bargaining power in retail industry, and if a customer decided to switch to one of Mr. DIY rivals, it will not negatively affect Mr. DIY. And lastly, the threat of substitute. The products sold in retail stores are similar and easily accessible to each other and in other outlets with a wide variety of products to choose from. So such as, for example, supermarket and convenience store. Therefore, in order to get the best price, a consumer would compare the price of the commodity that is exactly the same or close to other rivals, as the price for switching is low for consumer. Next, we will move to the critical analysis. In this section, we will address the SWOT analysis for Mr. DIY. So, Mr. DIY competitive strengths is being the market leader in the rising and robust retail segment in Malaysia. With a promising projected market share, Mr. DIY is Malaysia's biggest home improvement retailer. Also, it is Mr. DIY's merchandising strategy to give consumers a wide variety of goods that have an appealing value proposition for price to quality. So one weakness that can be pointed out in the fact that Mr. DIY business and operations are limited to Malaysia and Brunei only, and the company does not own any of the similar trademarks outside Malaysia and Brunei. So as for Mr. DIY grows its business network in both countries, or if the competitors successfully expand their store network in mentioned countries, this market will become highly saturated and Mr. DIY might not be able to add new profitable branches in the sector. So Mr. DIY does have business opportunity to develop and expand into, as Mr. DIY aims to maximize the knowledge about the local industrial practices, customer preference, and also scale advantage to obtain new customer segments when the opportunity arises. There are fair and long-term opportunities to grow into a new retail format. So the major threat faced by Mr. DIY is the outbreak of infectious disease pandemic such as COVID-19. So the outbreak of this pandemic has created tremendous economic uncertainty in financial and the commercial markets all over the globe. So many businesses has been closed and some are required to halt to temporarily the operation due to the MCO and also RMCO. As for the recommendation, it will be recommended for Mr. DIY to enhance its competitive advantage over these newcomers and existing rivals by growing its online sales operation. So there is so much room for improvement, as sales from Mr. DIY e-commerce website and third-party e-commerce retail platform only accounted a small percentage of the business total revenue. Overall, Mr. DIY business strategy is very appealing, considering the elements embroidered into the business operation in order to maximize its profit. From only brick and mortar retail stores, Mr. DIY encourages their customers to use online platform to purchase their product by offering promotion for the first online purchase. So Potter's 5 horses analysis and SWOT analysis have been done in order to analyze the strategic management implemented that enabled Mr. DIY to achieve what's been achieved now. So that's all from me. Thank you.